Welcome to the Ask Caleffi podcast, coming at you live from the lab. Guys, what do we got going on?
Plumbing, hydronics, expert insights, and a few stories from the trenches.
Whether you're on the job or just along for the ride,
We've got you covered. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Ask Caleffi podcast. I got Larry, Mo, and Curly here with me once again.
Oh, we're back.
Yep.
We are. Heating season kickoff. It's that time of year, isn't it?
Check everything
It
out.
is that time of year.
Make sure it's running properly.
Yeah. But are we just there to check the appliance, or are we actually checking the entire system? That's the question.
I think all the above.
Definitely all the above.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I think the homeowner, when they call you in for maintenance, they're only thinking about the boiler, but definitely be making a mistake if you just look at that.
Agreed. There is nothing worse than getting that phone call back that, hey, you guy was just here, and now said ball valve or gate valve or whatever valve you looked at wrong is now leaking. It's dripping on the floor, or the backflow preventer is leaking,
Right.
or the separator is leaking water,
Yep.
right? Because separators, we know, or air vents for that matter, they shouldn't be leaking water. They should only be purging air.
Correct.
So, or catching dirt and
Dirt.
debris.
Yep.
That's it. So if you got one that's leaking a little more than air, it's time to do some service work to it. But
Yeah, I mean, that's the time where you really need to dive in and look at the whole system, because you're right. You go out and do maintenance on the boiler, and you get a call a week later from the homeowner, and one zone's not heating. Okay, well, did you test the pump? Did you test the zone valve? Did you clean the dirt separator? I mean,
Right.
Let's start to look further than just the boiler.
Right. Like you mentioned, the dirt separator. Let's purge that out. Let's get all the dirt and debris out of there, pull the magnets, flush everything out. When you're doing that, then now you can test your fill line, because you just took all the pressure off of the system. Now let's do the fill line, make sure we don't have any leaks with that, make sure it's regulating pressure correctly, check the backflow preventer, get everything all nice that way, and then let's start testing the system.
Yeah.
You got to run the boiler anyways,
Yeah.
so you might as well, when you want to crank that thing up to high fire anyways, so you might as well get all the zones going, make everything running great, make sure it's working good. You're not going to overheat the house.
Nope.
Let's just test everything.
Right.
yeah, and I think having a checklist to go about all of this is really critical. I know it adds some paperwork for the tech on site, but it gives one. It's a nice reminder, right? You go, yep, I did purge the dirt mag. Air separator is working. All the valves are not leaking from their packings, or, hey, I had to tighten a packing. Keep an eye on this one. You can make a note of it somewhere. My autofill is working. I know because I purged some pressure off. I flushed the dirt separator. All is well with that. It's easy to get caught up in just the combustion side.
Right.
And that the combustion side is a very expensive piece of equipment, but if we aren't removing the air and the dirt and putting quality fluid through that piece of equipment, we're not prolonging its life for a very, very long time.
No, definitely not.
You mentioned zone systems, right? Mm-hmm. I think knowing sequence of operation is really, really critical.
Right.
Whenever you're talking a control system, we walk through a sequence of operation all the time when we're troubleshooting. Hey, in order for this part of the system to come on or work, this switch has to be closed.
Right.
So why don't we walk through a zone system real quick, like something basic, simple. We'll say it's a zone valve system, a ZVR with pumps, and we have a boiler and an indirect on there. We'll say zone 1, it's a 3-zone. Zone 1 will be our domestic hot water. Zone 2 and 3 are going to be floors 1 and 2.
Right.
How would we go about putting that thing through motion, and what's happening? So we'll say zone 2 is calling, first floor is calling. What's happening inside that board?
Well, if zone 1's calling, the thermostat needs some heat, or the room needs heat. There's a demand. What's happening is that is sending a signal down to your pump or even your zone valve. And if it's your pump's going to turn on. It's going to send an end switch back to your boiler. Boiler's going to fire up. If it is a zone valve, It's going to send 24 volts to your zone valve. The zone valve is going to open up fully, then send an end switch back to your board, which then the board will go, hey, we're ready for some heat. Send an end switch back to your boiler. And just it'll go through every single zone, and just make sure that everything's calling and everything's functioning properly. Because sometimes over time you won't get a end switch call from the zone valve, and then you have no heat going to that zone.
Right. Yeah, and if you're testing it, take the time to actually go to the thermostat and turn it on. I know we can, we know ways we can jump it out at the board. And you can take a little shortcut and do that, and it works. It'll confirm if that zone's working or not. But how do you know that Mr. or Mrs. homeowner didn't install a new thermostat and wire something incorrectly?
Yep.
Exactly.
Right,
Yep, or it needs batteries. I mean, it wasn't uncommon for us in the field. We would carry batteries on the truck because that thermostat didn't have a common, but it was battery powered, and the battery light's been on. Well, ma'am, how long is this? Well, I don't know. It's been on since last fall, and it's still working.
Right.
We're going to put a set of batteries in that thing for you, as simple as it is, a pair of AAAs or whatever. But covering all the simple basic stuff, it also helps you earn some rapport with that customer.
Right. And I mean, if you're up, take the time, walk through the house, check everything out. At least they feel like they're getting some bang for their buck at that point, instead of just sitting down in the hole in the basement and, doing your stuff from down there. At least go up, walk around, make sure everything's working properly.
Yeah, it builds some rapport with the customer too.
Yeah.
You can teach them a little bit about the system they're living with, answer any questions they might have. It just kind of really bonds you with your customer.
Right. Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. Matt, anything to add on this?
Matt's you're kind of quiet over
Kinda
there.
quiet over there, Matt.
I never had the boots on the ground experience of maintaining a boiler or anything like that coming from the plumbing side. But yeah, I mean, I've certainly heard plenty of it from my experience here on the phones and everything like that. But yeah, I think that's a great idea to have a checklist. That way, your company is all on the same page. You want to make sure all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, and anything comes up, you can be like, we've got it in writing right here. Like this was checked.
Yep. Right. I mean, another thing too is check if you do have like antifreeze in your system.
Yeah.
Check the antifreeze.
Yeah,
check the level of
right.
inhibitors. Check the level of your antifreeze. See where your protection is, because you don't know if maybe some got leaked out or who was there in the past, and like your inhibitors or your preventers. Check those levels. See if something needs to be added to your system.
Right.
That's one thing too, is make sure, if you are doing a complete, drain and flush and refill, make sure any chemicals that you're adding to your system are compatible with that heat exchanger within that boiler that you're using.
And if you are doing any flushes, we do make a awesome flush cart.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Handmade
Hydro
right
flush.
here in
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Yes.
Yep. North American made.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
is.
would say we're probably 1,000 carts and counting.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
least.
those are awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
we've built that many of them. But to your point, inhibitors have to be maintained. Glycol has to be maintained. I mean, it's not like wine. It doesn't get better with age, right?
Or like us.
Right. It gets a little more acidic, and I don't know what it is with glycol, but it sure likes to find its way out of the out of things.
Oh,
It's
yes.
pretty slippery devil. It finds its way through threads. It finds its way through any little porous, fittings that it'll go there if it can.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's important to maintain it. Here's another rabbit hole. We talk a little bit about fluid quality, right? And we offer products that help mitigate problems out of fluid, like oxygen, air, and trained air bubbles.
Right.
That's the air separator, right?
Yep.
And we offer something that can take care of the solids out of solution. What we no longer offer is something to take care of the water quality itself. Because if we put a separator in a system, it's not there to clean the water per se, the actual water itself. You're cleaning the debris out of the water. Those are the solids.
Right.
And removing the oxygen to prevent the corrosion inside. But there are other things in water in general, right? We have very hard water here, and to my knowledge, just about everywhere we go in this country.
It seems to be hard.
Right.
We're all in a limestone quarry, it seems like, and that stuff has dissolved into the water. So that's the total
dissolved solids.
Dissolved solids. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much. To try and mitigate that with just standard devices put into piping is very difficult to do.
Yeah, starting with the correct water quality is really key. I mean, if you're starting clean and you're putting a good quality heat transfer fluid in the system, it's easier to maintain as you go down the line.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it involves knowing what you're up against initially. So changeouts are probably a big thing, right? We know they are. They've always been in our industry. You go in to cut out the old cast iron clunker because it's tea kettling. You can hear it thump and bang, and we know why, because there's probably a big hunk of lime and dirt and debris stuck in the bottom because it's acted as a dirt and solid separator. And then you can't carry a lot of velocity through it to move that stuff out. But it's time to replace the boiler. We want to do something more efficient. Maybe we want to add domestic hot water. We want to add an indirect tank, and maybe we want to zone the house. Maybe it's getting an addition, whatever. But you have some existing conditions that need to be addressed, especially if you have mixed piping and mixed components, an old cast iron boiler. Maybe you have some cast iron rads, and then another part of the house was added onto in the 70s, and now it's baseboard. So now you got a mix of different things, and then, hey, we're gonna add a master ensuite, and we're gonna put in-floor in the bathroom. I'm making this a real nice. I'm making it a real nice clean system. But you have all of this, and what's the first thing we got to do? I mean, how should we attack this? How should we approach this? And I think addressing water quality is number one, especially if that customer is now spending $30,000 on redoing this system with a high efficiency boiler and an indirect tank. What the heck should we do here?
Well, I think, like you said, you test your water and see what it is at first. But second, definitely with the cast iron radiators, put in that dirt separator, put in that dirt mag, get all that dirt and debris out of there, because that's an old system, and we don't want that in there anymore.
Cast iron radiators are a dirt trap to begin with all those nice smooth surfaces they have in there.
Well, and then they're so oversized, so you get that velocity drop.
Yeah, you have no
so
velocity.
All that dirt and debris drops to the bottom and settles in the bottom.
You are not carrying any velocity through those things.
I think you put our Step 4 in right away, and there.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah. Properly sized.
Properly sized Step 4.
Yep.
Put it in, good to go.
Yeah. Let's talk about cleaning up the water itself a little bit. I know this is kind of a dirty subject. We're trying to remove total dissolved solids. So, how the heck are we doing that?
You're running it through a filter.
Essentially,
yeah. I mean, that's what you're doing.
Or chemical flush or
chemical
something.
Flush,
right?
Or,
getting in and running chemical to loosen everything up and get it suspended so that you can flush it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
that's definitely ideal to start with is, hit that system with something. There are a lot of places they don't even want to see that chemical in there because they know where it's going to have to go.
Right.
I mean, a good thing too is if we are talking about replacements and if you get the job, go out there a week before, put an additive in there that's going to loosen and clean everything.
Get it moving in the system.
And then, before you start ripping and tearing, just purge that system and get all that junk out of there. And then at least you're starting off with somewhat of a cleaner slate than just not putting anything in there and, hooking back up to 80, 100-year-old piping system.
Right.
Yeah. And then in a perfect world, go in there with demineralized water or a demineralizer to run system water through.
Right.
The mineralizer, basically it's an ion exchange. Right, yeah. It's actually grabbing. If you were to take and cut apart a softener, you have those little pellets in there, right?
Resin pellets.
Little resin pellets, and the resin is what actually grabs those ions out of there, and the elements out of there, and it allows that system to it purifies the water, basically.
Right.
So you then put purified or cleaned water in there. Now what?
Well, now you need to start to maintain it, and
Right.
that's where a good dirt and magnetic separator is going to be important. So that once you do flush the system, you install the new equipment, you install the new system, you put the new high quality clean heat transfer fluid back in. That's where that magnetic separator is going to help you keep that clean. And you may need to flush it once a day, once a week, once a month. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to take a commitment until you get it clean, get that system clean to a point where you can do it on an annual maintenance plan.
Right.
Yeah. There's also other things to be aware of too. When you put clean, purified water in, it now looks to rebalance itself.
Well,
Yes.
it will.
It wants to dirty itself back up again.
Exactly.
It's like your dog after you give it a bath. that mud puddle looks pretty inviting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
So you want to actually put some sort of additive in there to help protect it, because what it's going to do, it's aggressive enough where it's going to try and grab for more minerals to balance itself. You have cast iron voluted pumps in there. You have different grades of brass. You have different grades of stainless with every type of heat exchanger that's out there. And some will give up something. They all give up something. Even plastic will give up something. Copper will give up something. So it's grabbing for all those nutrients. So say you have a flow meter in there with a nice clear, flow glass that you can see flow through. All of a sudden it starts to turn rusty, and the homeowner sees that and they go, what the heck? I thought you put brand new clean water in here, and now I can't see what my system's doing. Well, yes, sir or ma'am, we did do that. However, we didn't put an additive in here to help protect all of those components in the system.
Right.
So it's another maintenance thing where you have to put in the correct inhibitor to protect all of those precious metals that are in there, and keep that water clean.
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. And then any solids that get shook loose, they come out through the separator.
Yep. Grab all that stuff and flush it out.
Flush it out. What else? What else are we missing here?
I don't know, but it looks like you got something in your head.
It disappeared. I saw a butterfly over there. Shiny thing.
Here's something coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we basically touched on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing to mention is we talked about existing systems and maintenance and retrofit, but what about a new system?
New system. Yeah, I didn't even occur to me. A new system, brand new. Almost anything going in these days is all low temp in floor stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think sizing is pretty important. Making sure all the components are sized correctly. Just because it's a 1-inch pipe, well, a lot of 100,000 BTU boilers are 1-inch connections, right? At least they used to be. They come out, you should probably blow them out to 1.25 inches.
Right.
Read the manual, right?
Yeah.
It does more than just act as a kneeling pad. But it's important and to be a slightly oversized on any device, any separator in particular, is okay.
But even on a new install, do you have to worry about contaminants in that system?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
If there's a drywaller, a carpenter, a plumber on site, they'll all tell you, it's a pretty good chance. If it looks like a dustpan, it'll get used as a dustpan. Electricians, they're good at that too. But
They don't clean up after themselves when you talk about
Yeah, but even a new hydronic system, I mean, if you're sweating, you run the risk of solid
right.
balls,
Yeah,
flux,
I mean, just in the install.
chemical flux getting in there,
Yeah.
copper shavings from
reaming pipe.
reaming pipe.
Yep.
Well, and all the water quality, the initial water quality things that you just talked about on a startup, all obviously apply to a brand new install.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still need that dirt and magnetic separator, that air separator. I mean, you still need all your safety devices in place.
Right. And just because it's a new install and it's a new well and it's good water doesn't mean it's real good water.
Right. Might taste good.
Right.
Might not smell good. Might be very hard water. Might be very.
I mean, a lot of guys are using ProPress today, but
Right.
you look at, I mean, all the systems we put in where we sweat all these fittings,
Everything.
and it's like you think of all that solder that could get in there, or the flux, the chemical flux.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that's going to end up somewhere in that system.
Right.
Yeah. You covered it, I would say. Ryan likes to talk about this stuff.
I do.
So if you haven't heard,
Which angle?
He gets excited.
he gets pretty excited. So if you ever want to call and have a conversation,
We're here.
yeah, we are here. Give us a call on the tech support line. We're here Monday through Friday. Well, some of us are. And we love to chat with you. So give us a call on the tech
All
support
right.
line. We'll help you out.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See
All
ya.
right. See you guys.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode.
Got questions or stories to share? We'd love to hear from you. Reach out and let's keep this conversation going.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen.
Until next time, stay curious and keep your systems running smoothly.